Climate action and navigating U.S.-China tensions highlight a busy year for Pacific Island nations. Welcome to VOA Asia Weekly. I'm Chris Casquejo in Washington. That story is coming up, but first, making headlines. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments next month over the constitutionality of the federal law that could ban TikTok in the U.S. if its Chinese parent company doesn't sell it. The justices said Wednesday they will hear arguments on January 10th. Honda Motor Company and Nissan Motor Company, Japan's second and third largest automakers, have begun talks on a merger that would create the world's third biggest automaker by volume. The proposed move comes amid fierce global competition in electric vehicles. South Korea's Constitutional Court began reviewing the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his failed attempt to impose martial law. The court has up to 6 months to decide whether to remove him from office or to reinstate him. If Yoon is dismissed, a U.S. warship made the first U.S. Navy port call in Cambodia in 8 years. The USS Savannah docked Monday at the port of Sihanoukville, only 30 kilometers away from Cambodia's Ream Naval Base, where 2 Chinese warships have been docked since May. The U.S. is concerned it could serve as a staging point for Beijing's aggression in the South China Sea. At least 14 people died and hundreds more are injured. The South Pacific Island nation suffered widespread damage. Officials said Wednesday the death toll is expected to rise. The Pacific Islands increased their engagement and advocacy on the global stage in 2024, whether through climate action or by taking advantage of U.S.-China geopolitical competition. The two countries have been vying for influence in the region. VOA's Jessica Stone reports.
In December, the U.S. military conducted its first successful live intercept of a ballistic missile off the territory of Guam, a test of its capability to defend against long-range missile attacks from Russia or China.
The U.S. has wisely prioritized first and second island chain counterpositioning. That included our buildup at Guam and Palau, as well as Space Force downlinks and Army missile programs at Kwajalein, enabled under the 2024 COFA renewal treaties.
The COFA, or Compacts of Free Association, renewal treaties came in March of 2024. 3 Pacific Island nations getting $7 billion in economic aid over the next 20 years in exchange for giving the U.S. military special access. They include Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, and Palau, where Surangel Whips is the president.
And we're looking forward to 20 years of prosperity and a relationship that will continue to grow and ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific.
Whips won re-election in November, promising to maintain the island's support of U.S. troops and diplomatic relations with self-ruled Taiwan, which China claims as its own sovereign territory. In the Solomon Islands, a spring election gave way to a pro-Beijing leader, Jeremiah Manele. At a Pacific Islands forum in November, a clash of alliances happened as the Solomon Islands tried unsuccessfully, on behalf of China, to block Taiwan from future participation in the group. 2 months later, the Solomons announced the discovery of the world's largest coral, a reminder of the region's most enduring adversary, climate change. Pacific Island youth led an effort at the International Court of Justice to demand a legal ruling on the obligation of nations to fight climate change. Coral Pasisi runs the Niue Oceanwide Trust, asking individuals to sponsor specific sections of ocean for conservation.
1 year in, we already have around $6.5 million in commitment, which is pretty amazing for a small place.
Small places with big issues at stake, increasingly in the international spotlight. Jessica Stone, VOA News.
Visit voanews.com for the most up-to-date stories. I'm Chris Casquejo. Finally, world chess champion Gukesh Domoraju made a triumphant return to India. The 18-year-old Gukesh arrived at the airport in southern Chennai state to a hero's welcome and media
for
frenzy.
A small place.
Gukesh became the youngest chess world champion by beating defending champion Ding Liren of China last Thursday in a 14-game match in Singapore. Thanks for watching VOA Asia Weekly.